One of the most frequent questions that I'm asked by clients is likely a question you're asking yourself right now. I've got the answer coming up. As I'm recording this, there are two very interesting financial developments happening, and it's begging people to ask one of the most common questions that I get as a financial planner. Now, let me set the stage for you. As I'm recording this, the stock market just finished one of its best years ever, and the amount of interest you're earning on the money sitting in the bank went down. Let me say that differently. You've got money in two different places. The money over here just had one of its best returns in history, while the money over here is earning next to nothing, less than it was earning a year ago. I know you've been thinking about it, but should you invest that money just sitting in the bank? Should you invest your emergency fund? It's tempting, I know it is, so should you do it? In as many areas of my life as possible, I choose to set up principles to guide decisions like these. That way, as life comes at you or your emotions come at you, you can separate yourself from acting on those emotions and the potential consequences that often follow. Because let's face it, wondering whether you should invest your emergency fund is emotional. If this was 2009 or 10 or 11, your emotions would tell you it's a no-brainer, that anyone who's thinking about investing their savings account is crazy. So let's take the emotions out of it and use principles. So here's the thing. As a matter of principle, your emergency fund should be FDIC insured. Why? Well, a couple reasons. But first, is it possible you could have a financial emergency in your life at the same time our economy or our stock market has a financial emergency? Yes, it's not only possible, it's probable. When you think about the types of reasons you might need to touch your emergency fund, and I mean the real reasons, not that you overspent last month and you've got an unusually high credit card bill to pay off, but what's the number one reason you might need to really use your emergency fund? You might think a health emergency, and I wouldn't argue with you, other than the fact that you have health insurance to cover these types of emergencies. Yes, there are copays and deductibles, potentially high deductibles, I get it, and that you might need to tap into your savings for some of that, but a health emergency, for the most part, you should have insurance to protect against that. Therefore, the main reason you have an emergency fund is if there's an interruption to your income, meaning you lose your job or your income suddenly goes down. That's the main reason. No amount of insurance can protect against that. Now, there are all sorts of reasons why you could lose your job or see an interruption to your income. But during a downturn in the economy, the odds of that happening do go up. And when there's a downturn in the economy, there's also always a downturn in the stock market. And get this, the way the markets work, the stock market usually starts going down long before companies start cutting their workforce. Therefore, one principle is that your emergency fund should be FDIC insured, meaning guaranteed against losing money. And therefore, you shouldn't invest that money. If you agree with me, then what should you be doing with this money? I don't think it's wise to just keep it in the bank. Instead, I want it to be working as hard as possible for you while still being FDIC insured. My personal go-to option for my own emergency fund and for really all short-term money that I have, like anything that's not kids' college or retirement, is an online money market account. Online money markets are FDIC insured. You're able to get your hands on this money quickly when something comes up, and most of them don't have minimums or fees. And although the interest rates that they pay has gone down recently because the Federal Reserve has dropped rates, you can still find them paying around 1.7% or so. Now, that's not going to make you rich, but it's an emergency fund. That's not what its purpose is. Its purpose is to keep you from going poor. So don't be tempted to invest your emergency fund after a great year in the stock market. Principles say that this is short-term money and therefore should be FDIC insured. That said, consider checking out an online money market to make sure you've got this money working as hard for you as possible. All right, I hope that helps. Leave a comment below. You've got any questions, leave that below as well. If you're not already a subscriber to the Wise Money channel, I'd encourage you to subscribe and turn on that bell for notifications. Until next time, go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.